Yeah, Dusty, in the sixth inning, when you went to the mound before the Rosarina at bat, what was said between you and Greinke? What was that conversation?
Well, we really didn't have a conversation, and the conversation was between me and Maldi, and Maldi said he can get this guy, and uh, I said, and I was thinking about, uh, putting Presley in the game right then. It was a big situation, but um, Zach, I mean, this guy's been out there many, many, many times, and then like I said, I usually don't change my mind, but I hadn't had my mind really, really made up until I got out there and I saw, the look in Zach's eyes, and Maldi was adamant about, he can get this guy. And then I said, okay, then you got it. Then this is ball game right here, and it was like more old school, doing the right thing that I thought was right, and excuse me, and we came out ahead.
Chandler Rum.
Dusty, to see Altuve go deep in the first at bat and go the other way with that hit. I mean, just how relaxed did you see him at the plate, and what did that do in the dugout when he hits that home run in the first inning after what his last 2 days have been like?
Well, hey man, he's been swinging the bat great, and then everybody's just so happy for Altuve, and I told him that another second baseman, little Joe Morgan, batted third for the Big Red Machine, and then he told me, "Hey man, I'm ready," and I tell you, man, that pitcher Glasgow has some dynamite stuff. I mean, he was flirting with 100 all night, and he had a good breaking ball. A lot of them were in the dirt, which makes you commit when they're throwing 100. So he really doesn't have to throw it over the plate as much. But and then that was a huge home run that George Springer hit, and we had enough to win tonight by 1 run.
Mark Bremen.
Dusty, got a couple things. One, the announcers for the game talked about a team meeting that y'all had. Can you tell me about that? How significant a role does something like that play in a situation like this?
Well, I can't tell you, Mark, what happened. I know you always ask these questions, but the players had a meeting, and then I talked to them a little bit prior to that. I don't know what they said in the meeting. That's up to them. And we got some real leaders on this team. Some dominant personalities that listen better than more than they talk, and that's what real leaders do. They listen to what other people have to say. So I really don't know what they said.
Well, I guess what I meant was how important is stuff like that in general?
Well, like I said yesterday, I think us as a society, we meet sometimes too much, because everybody, all you can do is state the obvious. I mean, we're in the process, was about to get eliminated if we lose this game tonight. Nobody's ready to go home. I'm not ready to go home, and nobody's ready to go home. We're ready to go to Dallas, and so this is kind of what my message was. There was a song by Freddie King, "Living in the Palace of the King," and going back to Dallas. So we still one step closer to the top of that mountains, but we got a couple steep cliffs the next couple of days.
What are your pitching plans now?
Well, we haven't really solidified it. We're in the process of talking about it now. It's probably not Framber, because we got to protect this guy, and it's probably not McCullers, because we got to protect him too. He's coming off Tommy John, and Framber has carried a tremendous amount of workload throughout these playoffs. This is the most innings he's ever pitched. And so, he's such a valuable commodity. We got to take care of him, and then somebody else has to pick up the slack. and it'll probably be Framber in Game 6.
David Barron.
Dusty, Springer expressed such frustration, I think, during yesterday's game, as have many of your hitters. Was today a chance for them to be rewarded for some of the hard contact that they've not been rewarded for earlier in this series?
Yeah, I mean, it really is, but, hard contact on the field is different than hard contact over the fence. And, they can't catch them over the fence. So if we can keep having some long balls and then get some short balls in between, and then we'll be in good shape.
Have you seen many up on the top shelf of the Western Metal Building before?
Nope, I've heard about them, and I've seen it on ESPN. But I mean, that was a big game today. That's the first game that we won in San Diego all year. We got swept here earlier in the season, and then we lost the first 3 games here. So heck, man, we're 1-6 here, so we're due for a lot more victories.
Pedro Gomez.
Hey, Dusty, before the game, saw you pull Altuve aside when everybody was loosening up. What was your message?
I just told him that, he was similar to little Joe Morgan, from the Cincinnati Reds. And that Joe is, with us, and especially with him.
Brian T. Smith.
Dusty, going back to the 6th, we've seen for years so many of these decisions. I mean, a lot of ways they're pre-made based off analytics and everything that goes into it in the modern game.
Yeah.
How much in that situation did you have to go off the? Obviously, you're listening to Maldonado, you're looking at Greinke, but you're also in that moment going off field in a lot of ways, trusting what you've learned, ever since you've been playing and managing this game.
Well, it depends on the person, I was trusting him, and more than I was trusting, myself. And then I can't lie to you, there were some prayers involved in there on the way back to the dugout, so sometimes I talk to my dad, and I just get a feeling. I mean, he was approaching that 90 plus mark. It was the 3rd time through. Dangerous. I mean, the hottest hitter in the playoffs, and he just hit him out of the ballpark the time before that. So I don't know. Sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't.
We have time for one more for Dusty. Stephanie Epstein.
Dusty, so when you went out there, were you were willing to be? Your plan was to take him out, but you were willing to be convinced otherwise?
Yeah, my plans was to take him out, but I wasn't really, convinced of my plan. And
did he? Sorry, go.
No, I mean, sometimes you look in the guy's eyes, and sometimes you listen to the catcher, and sometimes you do what you got to do. And I mean, sometimes I remember one time I was going to take Serger out, and I wasn't sure in Washington, and he has 2 different color eyes, and so one's brown and one's blue. And so, sometimes you look in their eyes and they're blinking, and you can tell that they're rattled or a little bit nervous. And I asked Serger, which eye should I look at? And he told me the blue eye. So I looked at the blue eye, and I left him in there, and it worked.
So, but Zach didn't say anything to you tonight.
No, he didn't say
When
nothing.
you went out there.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He didn't say nothing.
Thank you.
Afterwards, he told me.
What did he say?
He just said, that's, I know you went probably against the book, and, that's what you would have done in the old school. And I told him, right.
Thank you.
That's what I would have done.
All right, Dusty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.